Welcome to Ultimate Wrestling Trivia, the show where we drop a show, brand new one, each and every Tuesday. Go ahead and hit that notification bell, smash that like button, comment. It goes a long way. We appreciate you guys for 2024 and beyond. And as I said, we're just wrapping up the year.
What a year.
This is the year in review. Can you believe we made it this far already? It's so crazy. The man down there in the pro wrestling tee soft style shirt, it is Dashing Derek. The man in the middle, not wearing a collared cutoff tee, but dressed into press. Mike Merc, looking good.
That's somewhere to be.
Yes. Yeah. Holiday dinner right around the corner. My name is Devon, and we appreciate you guys checking us out on all social media platforms. We are on the Instagram, the Facebook, the TikTok, the X, wherever you can find us on social media. We are there searching Ultimate Wrestling Trivia. All right, it is the year in review. It's cold outside, but it is hot in the studio as we're going to go over the Wrestler of the Year, Women's Wrestler of the Year, Tag Team of the Year, Match of the Year. That's all to come, along with a special trivia from none other, from a guy that had a great year, Solo Sikoa, number one. He had himself a great year, so stick around for that at the end of the show. All right, with that being said, we're going to check in with Angelo Stefano as well. He was disgusted, go figure, by our picks. He's like, I don't even want to be by you guys on set. I'm going to sit in the back. Fair enough. We're not going to argue that. The Grinch is in the bag, yes. All right, with that being said, Wrestler of the Year. Go ahead and start us off, Dashing Derek. Who do you got for 2024 Wrestler of the Year?
Ooh, this was a tough one for me. I felt like it was a two-horse race. I mean, you had guys like Cody Rhodes, who had a good year, Swerve Strickland, who also had a good year. But for me, it came down to Will Ospreay and Bryan Danielson. And I went with Bryan Danielson as my Wrestler of the Year, holding the AEW title, his final countdown. I think just the whole story of him, you know, losing that title and then ending his career for the full time at least. It was kind of tough because he's missed the last couple of months. But I think overall, when you take a look at the variety of opponents that he's had throughout the year, he wrestled Hechicero, Zack Sabre Jr., Yuji Nagata, and then on top of that, his matches with Ospreay and Swerve. I went with Bryan Danielson as my Pro Wrestler of the Year 2024.
So do you think this is the end, or you think going into 2025 we will see more or way less?
I think, well, depending on that neck injury, I mean, maybe one or two times. I could see him coming out for the big shows, but that's about it.
So he's going to be an attraction, actually. Yeah. So it'll be a pay-per-view event is the only time you can see him. Yeah. Heck of a run for Bryan Danielson. Yes. I mean, he did great. You can't argue that one at all. Mr. Mike Merc, I'm peeking at your paper here a little bit. Wrestler of the Year for 2024. Go ahead and tell the fine folks watching.
I do. So my runner-up, my first runner-up, honorable mention, is none other than Will Ospreay. I felt that he essentially carried AEW on his back, and we have wrestling has another star. And he was already a star in the sense that a lot of diehards knew who he was. A lot of international fans obviously were familiar with his work, but I felt that to a grander, larger North American audience, he cemented himself as a star and almost was enough to make him my pick for Wrestler of the Year. However, I went with a person that catapulted himself into mainstream media to a level not yet seen by him and had some of the largest numbers in pro wrestling history in terms of gates and merchandise moved and things like that, and that's Cody Rhodes. Ooh. So for WWE to capture the title at WrestleMania, hold the title through the remainder of 2024, he is my 2024 Wrestler of the Year.
So Cody Rhodes, of course, was the number one wrestler on the PWI list. I'm going to ask both of you, so far as of this recording, what grade do you give Cody Rhodes' title run right now?
I give it a B-. I think a lot of people are just kind of waiting for The Rock to come back and maybe do like the Cody Rock match at WrestleMania. He's had some good matches with AJ Styles. Gunther was a good match, but overall, I mean, you know, it felt like
Good,
a
but
B
not
minus.
good, but not great.
Good, but not great. Yes.
Yeah, I would say B plus. I feel that obviously there's a lot of pressure on that, and
Yeah.
you know he's not going to drop the title immediately. So there's a little bit of shine that's affected in his matches. So how do you make him feel vulnerable? How do you keep people interested in a long term arc like the him versus The Rock or him versus Roman, a rematch, and still care about, you know, the wrestlers of today and the guys that are on every Raw, SmackDown, house show, things of that nature. So I think that 2025 with the move to Netflix, you'll see a larger presence of Cody Rhodes on television. Maybe not quite as the matches, but either way, like I feel he will continue to impress.
I'm with you guys on that. I'm giving Cody Rhodes a solid B plus in his efforts so far for 2024. Real quickly, what did The Rock hand Cody Rhodes? We're going to see that at all in 2025.
Was that a watch?
A watch? Was it a ticket to Moana 2?
Moana 2, yeah. Live action Moana. I hear that's coming out.
My wrestler of the year, I'm going with the 31-year-old. Much like Derek said before, it was a two-headed monster race. But I went the other way. I went with Will Ospreay. He had some tremendous, outstanding A++, 5, 7-star matches with the likes of Josh Alexander, Okada, Michael Oku. He fought him in the Rev Pro, Kyle Fletcher, Takeshita, MJF. He had Swerve. A lot of these guys he fought multiple times in Japan also. Just off the charts, so good. Will Ospreay, my wrestler of the year. Can't be said enough that I think he just went from like this level to the next level in TVs all across the world, where people are like, oh yeah, now I really know Will Ospreay, and I think he's going to have another great run in 2025 for AEW. Will Ospreay, my wrestler of the year. And you want to stick around, Angelo Stefano, check out who his wrestler of the year is too after we're done here. All right, now we turn our attention to match of the year. There's been so many good ones in this year.
Yeah.
Your match of the year, Dashing Derek.
All right. Well, I think it was a little on the weaker side for match of the year. I mean, there's a lot of great matches, but they all kind of blend together. But I went with, this took place at AEW Dynasty. Like I said before, my two top wrestlers, this was Will Ospreay versus Bryan Danielson. This was my match of the year. I thought the Swerve Ospreay match was a very close second at Forbidden Door. But, I mean, like I said, I had the top two guys, Ospreay, Danielson, in the ring together at Wrestle Dynasty. That was my number one match of the year.
I tend to look at things in a promoter lens, so therefore, what had the biggest eyeballs, what had the biggest gate, and that was WrestleMania. So Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, it had the involvement of The Undertaker, it had the involvement of The Rock, it had all that build up from Royal Rumble to WrestleMania, and it delivered. Like, it's hard to deliver when the expectations are so high. Mm-hmm. It's natural to feel a little bit let down, and I didn't. And I think a lot of casual wrestling fans were really blown away, and WWE was able to ride that momentum for most of the year. So that's my match of the year.
My match of the year, much like Derek's, I went to AEW Dynasty. I took Bryan Danielson against Will Ospreay. 32 minutes of action for the St. Louis crowd. From bell to bell, it was just amazing, and it was hard to imagine that anything was going to top that once that match took place. The storytelling was perfectly done. Everything was executed. The counters, as you can imagine, back and forth action. Bryan Danielson, Will Ospreay, two of the best in the world, not just for 2024, but I mean, I think of all time, if you ever made a top 10 after it's all said and done, those two are going to fall on most people's list. So AEW Dynasty had the match of the year. Early on, I thought it was 7 stars, perfect matchup, and nothing really topped that. I mean, going into.
I like the Cody Roman match. The only thing that I didn't like about that was all the interference. You had John Cena come out, you had The Undertaker come out, and I think it kind of took away from Cody's moment. Like, this was supposed to be all about Cody finishing the story. I think it's an honorable mention for sure. Also, another honorable mention was Sting's last match. Sting and Darby.
He ended up retiring
versus
this year,
the Young
2024.
Bucks. I think that entire show, building up to Sting's last match. But
that was a good one.
Yeah, and then but there was a lot of the bells and whistles with the high spots with Darby and Sting's sons coming out. But that was definitely on my list, my short list for match of the year also.
Yeah, so many options. As always, we would love to hear from you guys out there in YouTube world. What was your pro wrestler of the year, your match of the year? We're going to dive into women's wrestler of the year and tag team of the year. Drop it in the comments. We'd love to hear from you guys, what you guys thought of the year 2024 in the world of professional wrestling. All right, we're switching gears a little bit. The ladies are up next to bat. The best women's wrestler of the year for 2024 is...
Yeah, I mean, for the women's side, there was a lot of injuries. Like Rhea Ripley was injured throughout the year. Britt Baker missed some time. Mercedes Moné didn't quite deliver, I don't think. So I went with Chris Statlander as my women's wrestler of the year.
Which Mercedes and Chris Statlander had a fantastic match at a Full Gear just recently.
Yeah, I think my favorite women's match this year was the Lights Out match between Willow Nightingale and Chris Statlander. Okay. So I'm going with Statlander. I think she's taking it to the next level. So I'm going with Statlander.
Yeah, I did not see that one coming at all.
The year.
No, I did not. So my first runner-up for women's wrestler of the year is Jordynne Grace.
Okay.
She dominated the Knockouts title from her Royal Rumble surprise appearance to later on in NXT. I felt she had a phenomenal 2025, but my actual women's wrestler of the year goes to Toni Storm. We saw the transformation to the superstar throwback character that to her feud with Mariah May and all parts in between, and she was definitely the highlight of AEW for myself in 2024, and for that reason she's my 2024 women's wrestler of the year.
Yeah, you might have been looking at my notes. My best women's wrestler for 2024 year in review goes to Timeless Toni Storm. She had a great match with Mariah May at AEW All In London. She was the PWI #1 wrestler out of the 250 list, a champ all the way up until August. A shout out to all the Leos out there. Her character work, she was must-see TV. Timeless Toni Storm definitely carried AEW, not even just the women's matches, but just as a whole. Like, when you saw her come out on TV, it was like, yeah, you stopped, you put the controller down, and you watched Timeless Toni Storm. Her matches with Amina Shirakawa at Forbidden Door, Thunder Rosa from Dynasty, and like I said, right in front of the 50,000 fans in London, she brought it against Mariah May. So Timeless Toni Storm gets my vote for best women's wrestler of the year. I don't know if you guys received this text from Stefano. He said he's currently throwing up in the back, that he's got to answer this question, but we will find out. We will find out all his winners for 2024 here in just a few moments. The tag team action. There's been a lot of great tag teams in the year 2024. Let us know who your tag team of the year is. The best tag team for Dashing Derek is...
Well, if you thought Chris Statlander was a dark horse, I went with Axiom and Nate Frazier from NXT as my tag team of the year.
Okay.
I think...
Great team.
Their matches like on NXT have been banger after banger after banger. And like other tag teams like the Young Bucks, FTR didn't quite have the years that I think they've, typically live up to. So I went with the youth, Axiom and Nate Frazier, NXT.
Interesting choice. All right. Can't argue that one.
No, that is a great pick. I did steal some of that logic with my pick as well. I feel generally when I like a tag team, what I like in them is I like them to be a team. I'm not a fan of two high-powered individuals that have teamed up. Now, there's great short-term success. We saw that with DX, Shawn Michaels and Triple H. Mm-hmm. You saw that with the Brothers of Destruction, Undertaker and Kane. They're awesome individuals. Well, going against my own logic, two individuals that I didn't expect to like. I expected it to be very short-lived, and instead, it did captivate me for majority of 2024, and that's the tag team of Jade Cargill and none other than her partner Bianca Belair, and that duo definitely dominated the WWE Women's Division. And it made you want to see them in singles action, I think, because they were so dominant. And it's very easy sometimes with wrestling companies to take two individuals if they don't have anything going on individually, shove them in a tag team for the short term. And this actually had some long term, and I think that benefited somebody like Jade Cargill, who's pretty new to the business. And for that reason, as a duo, it worked. And I felt like their run was able to take advantage of a relatively down year for tag teams. I think the Acclaim started off super hot and kind of fizzled as the year went along, and now you're seeing the issues that they're having as a duo finally. And the Young Bucks had a great year, but it's not as good of a year as they've had in the past. Same with FTR, as Derek mentioned. WWE, you had different people hold the belts throughout, from the Bloodline, to the Usos earlier in the year with their long run coming to an end. So it definitely opened the door for a new team to knock it down, and Jade and Bianca did that, in my opinion.
Well, there you go. The best tag team getting the vote from Devon. Well, the heel turn in 2024 gave us a newfound importance. Talking about the Young Bucks forming a new version of the Elite alongside Jack Perry and Kazuchika Okada. It was awesome to see those guys trusted in a main event storyline involving Sting and Darby Allin, as Derek said before. Tony Khan and Bryan Danielson, among others. You always had the Bucks right there along the side. So the Young Bucks stepped up their game, upper card, I would say, for sure, in the year 2024. Their heel act is a lot stronger, I think. I think they're more so better as bad guys than they are as good guys. I prefer that team, the Young Bucks, Nicholas and Matthew Jackson. My tag team of the year, the Young Bucks. And as always, we would love to hear from you guys out there. Who is your wrestler of the year, match of the year, ladies, women's wrestler of the year, and tag team of the year?
Drop it in the comments.
Comments. We would love to hear from you guys. We really do read each and every one of those. And I suppose it's time to toss it to the Grinch himself.
Unleash the beast.
Do you think he picked the Young Bucks?
Not a chance in hell, no.
I don't know much, but I know he did not pick the Young Bucks.
Angelo Stefano, he's sitting live in the back right now for his picks.
The Dream Team. Oh, the double clothesline on Big John Studd. Oh, no. An elbow. Oh, no. Another elbow.
Stefano!
What?
You're live.
Oh, yeah, what am I doing again?
We need Wrestler of the Year, Match of the Year, Tag Team of the Year, Women Wrestler of the Year.
What's wrong with this match? Oh. Wrestler of the Year, Cody Rhodes. He finished his story. Hello. Match of the Year. How about Ric Flair, Ricky Steamboat from Clash of the Champions? That was pretty good. And Woman of the Year, I don't know, Baby Doll. And let's see, Tag Team of the Year. How can you not say the Midnight Express? That's the way it was. That's the way it should be. And Big John Studd wins the Battle Royal.
All right, shocked, not shocked, surprised, not surprised by his... Well, needs to leave it to Stefano, right?
It's hard to love sometimes, man.
Yeah, tis the season. It's really hard to get that man a Christmas card.
Well, and with the holidays right around the corner, Ultimate Wrestling Trivia, we've had some pretty good Christmas specials.
We have
in the past. We've got some good ones coming up here over the following days and weeks, but I may have to rethink that a little bit with what Stefano just dropped on us.
Yeah, and as always, if you're sitting around your family and maybe you don't like the in-laws at all, you can watch all of our past episodes on YouTube. You can subscribe along the way. But yeah, search Ultimate Wrestling Trivia on YouTube, where we drop a brand new show each and every Tuesday. Check out all those old videos. Pass them along to your friends. A lot of great things throughout the years. All right, before we wrap it up, we got to send it, as we said before, to the man, Solo. Friend of the program from back in the day. He's got some trivia for you right now.
I'm so proud to be a brother of a pro wrestler and to be a second generation wrestler. Which of the following brothers were not a second generation wrestler?
Wow, what a year that guy had. Of course, we recorded that when he was Sefa Fatu, the Problem, and he transitioned right into one of the main stories, Solo, dropping some knowledge, fighting Roman Reigns and everything. You know the answer to that? Drop it in the comments. With that being said, comments, questions, concerns, what are you guys thinking about 2025? Any memorable moments that stick out to you, whether it be a car confessions or a couch game that we played or a topic, some that took off that you're very thankful for or look forward to?
Yeah, the couch game is always fun to do. We've had some great interviews with Zilla Fatu, I think was one that comes to mind recently. But yeah, like you said, go check out those past episodes.
I always enjoyed, interviewing the fans.
Yeah, that was always fun, yeah.
You've got a chance to do it. I've had a chance to do it. And they surprise you, and I feel like obviously our fandom stems from when we fell in love with pro wrestling.
Right.
So we cover a lot of late 80s, mid 90s, and a lot of fans that are younger, their fandom starts with John Cena.
Sure.
Their fandom starts with Randy Orton, perhaps. And so that's cool. And it's cool to see things through their perspective or their lens. And that's good stuff.
Absolutely. Well, as we wrap up the year 2024 and move into 2025, of course, Ultimate Wrestling Trivia will be at the forefront, whether it be on YouTube or local shows or any shows. Make sure you follow us on all social media platforms. The year 2025, any predictions? Spoilers, any thoughts moving forward here before we wrap up?
I'm going to predict we're going to see Jake Paul in a ring, a WWE ring, teaming up with his brother Logan Paul at WrestleMania. The Paul brothers will be at WrestleMania.
Definitely could see that with the buzz happening with Paul fighting Tyson late this year. I mean, the real winners were those two guys right there.
Oh, yeah.
I think what you'll see is 2025 will be focused on a lot of the female competitors.
Yep.
You've got a lot of great talent in NXT, like a Roxanne Perez. Maybe somebody jumps ship from AEW to WWE or vice versa, WWE to AEW. With the new Women's Intercontinental Championship, the Women's United States Championship, there's going to be a focus. And I think as a company standpoint, and Endeavor, TKO, that's publicly traded companies, so their job is to generate profit. And how can we get more eyeballs on the product? And there's a lot of little girls that need their girl action figures and their new toy belts and things like that. And so there's going to be more growth in the female segment of pro wrestling. And so I expect big things from the women's division in both companies, really.
Our producer just sent a text. The year 2025 is the year of the wood snake. So it's kind of funny that
Jake Roberts?
Is Mr. Jake Roberts going to make an appearance? Or who's jumping ship? Who's going to do some stuff? Yeah, the year of the snake. So
that's
we'll
a cobra, though. That's different.
Oh, that's true. A little different than a wood snake. As always, we would love to hear from you in the comments. Let us know what you're looking forward to, what you thought of the year 2024 as well. And make sure you check out our Pro Wrestling Tee store. Makes for a great holiday gift. Hopefully somebody scooped that up. Or the year 2025, you need some fresh gear. That's where you get it. ProWrestlingTees.com. Shout out to those fine folks out there in Chicago, Illinois. All right, any parting comments here before we wrap up today's show at all?
It was a great year, a memorable year. We finished the story with Cody Rhodes. We've elevated Swerve Strickland. Lots of guys have switched companies, Okada, Osprey, so looking forward to 2025.
One thing I would like for 2025, Ultimate Wrestling Trivia, we've got 46,000 followers across the X, the Instagram,
Thank you guys.
the TikTok, the IG, the Facebook. But our YouTube channel
Needs some love, needs some help.
So when you
Yes.
have a wrestling fan in your life, in your group chat, send them this episode. Tell us we suck. Tell us what we got right. Whatever it is.
Yeah, you can sit on the toilet and watch us.
Hit
You
that
can do whatever.
subscribe
Yeah.
button. You know, we enjoy doing this. Help us out a little bit. Hit that subscribe button. Send it to the wrestling fan friend in your world.
There
we
you
would
go.
appreciate that.
And we appreciate you guys as we wrap it up. Dashing Derek, the man in the middle. He is Mike Merc. My name is Devon. We will see you next Tuesday for
Stefano's
Ultimate
somewhere
Wrestling
back here.
Trivia, the show.
Stefano, you gonna come out?
He's going to stay in the back.
Yeah.
He's eating catering.